Welcome and hello there. Today we're gonna look at the second battle of our Rebellion in the Rim campaign. I have sped up the footage to 5 times the speed again, and we're just gonna look at this. So, I got attacked here again, and my opponent chose Hired Scum, which is a objective that I actually pretty liked this game. And what we can see right now, I think, is we're still debating on how the objective works, and then I will go ahead and take 2 squadrons that are up to, I think, 40 points of squadron value. They also have to be irregular ones. That is why I chose a fire spray and a decimator, and those will come in at the objective marker. And then I get to deploy all of the obstacles, as you can see now. And I also put down the objective markers, and then the squadrons will jump into the Hired Scum thingies. Both of our lists had low fuel, I can't fucking talk, low fuel, and my opponent decided to give me the option that I have to deploy touching the end of the board, and I took the option to make him deploy at speed 1 with all of his ships. He's got a transport with nothing on it, a Nebulon with flight commander and I think fighter coordination team, and then he's got an MC-30 with just bare assault proton torpedoes on it. So what I did was I put down my transport, and then I put down squadrons so I could delay all of his deployments first, so I could see where those go to then put down my ships, and he has his squadrons. He has Dodge, Wedge, and a Scrug bomber. All of my squadrons are still scarred from the last round, so those start with 1 health less, and this objective doesn't have a space station, so sadly I couldn't repair my 2 TIE interceptors on a space station. And then I just decided to put my ships all on his far side, because basically what my plan was to just kill his squadrons with my extra squadrons that I got from the objective, and then just to fly away and not engage his ships. As you will see, that didn't really work out for me. I mean, I killed all of his squadrons, but he as well killed a lot of my ships. So yes, we'll just look at some maneuvering, and he started out with speed 1 and he didn't speed up. In my opinion, that was kind of a mistake, because he's first player and he has an MC-30 which wants to like really get in there and shoot me at close range. And he also flew the carrier, which was his Nebulon, very defensively, which well, it worked out. It never got shot, but it also, I think it just shot 1 shot against my flagship, and that didn't do much because I hadn't evaded long range. So what I did was I just took squadron tokens on everything in round 1, so I would be able to squadron on my other ships, and they just went and navigate every time after that, and the Gozantis would be the main squadron activator for me. And because we both had 3 activations, I could always just outlast his activations and be the one to actually engage on this one, because my squadrons are a lot faster than his. His squadrons are all at speed 3, mine are almost all at speed 5, except Jandon, he's speed 3 as well. So what I did was just strolling forward pretty standardly, and then I just put the 2 Hired Scum squadrons in there at the end of round... no, at the beginning of round 2, I think. Yes, beginning of round 2. And then this was like basically a maneuver that really didn't like him, because he maneuvered out of range for his fighters. Like Dodge was out of range, and as well he was so close to the board, to the ending of the board, that he barely couldn't maneuver at all, and he didn't have any navigate commands for the next 2 turns on that flagship, which was which is a pretty limiting factor on the Nebulon. And I just sped up to speed 3, so I wouldn't get caught on my flagship, and then I kind of flew around circles on him. In hindsight, I should have probably taken a command cruiser, so I had a blue flag die, so I could have used my linked turbo lasers for flagging at some point. But points were kind of tight when I built this list, so I didn't take a command cruiser, I took a light cruiser, and that has only black flag, which is kind of bad. But yeah, my radar, just jumping ahead there, and then basically what unfolds is just a dance of the squadrons, which I inevitably win at one point, because I have the rogue squadrons, which I just use to pressure his ships, because the MC-30 will come around and start fighting my stuff. And yeah. And this was basically the breaking point in my opinion, because he also had a navigate token, and I personally would have gone up to speed 3 and just tried to get in there more with the MC-30 so I could shoot something, but he decided to play it really defensively. But in my opinion he couldn't do that, because my bombing squadrons would have just killed his MC-30, so by playing the MC-30 that defensively, he basically forced his squadrons to take a battle that they would not win. Because now what happens is his Nebulon has a squadron, and he chooses to, I think, not activate the squadrons. And what ended up happening is he just flew out of the squadron activation range again, for some reason. And later on we checked, like, even the speed 2 maneuver puts it out of squadron activation range. And that basically meant that I just got some free poking of my 2 hired scum squadrons at his MC-30, which I definitely took, because I mean it's 3 blue dice on the Dathomir and 2 blue dice with bomber on the fire spray. Pretty good squadrons, not gonna lie. Yeah, so what ended up happening here is, like, I flew a little bit too close with the radar. I should have, like, not done that, because what happened now was that I just rammed the radar with my Gazanti, and my Gazanti ended up dying to ramming damage this game. So what I should have done is just fly the radar a bit faster and a bit more to the upper left corner of the field, like a bit more into his MC-30, and then yeah, because he was first player, he just ended up shoving his squadrons to the front, and then I just shoved mine to a position where they could just attack his things easily. And then I forced him to attack my squadrons next turn by flying the decimator and the fire spray in there and just attacking his MC-30 with them. So as you can see now, I just put those in there and shot at it, and they did okay damage. They weren't the greatest, but it was okay. And then, yeah. And because they were there now, he had to attack me next turn with his squadrons. Because if he wouldn't have had, I could have just Merrick Gendoned into that MC30 and shot with the Decimator and the Fire Spray again, and it would have probably almost died to that. Because the bombing power of my fleet is pretty nice, and with the Decimator and the Fire Spray on top, it's like really, really good. So what he did was just activate, I think, the 2 squadrons first with his Gazanti. It's not a Gazanti, it's a rebel transport, but all the flotillas are Gazantis in my book. So what you can see here is he used his Croc Bomber, I think, to shoot my Raider in a rather futile attempt of hurting it badly, which he didn't. I think he just rolled 2 damage or something, and I just braced that. But that was actually damage that later on killed me, I was pretty salty about that. So what I did here was just roll 4 damage against the Scrog, so it was like almost dead, and that was from the squadron token of my flagship. And then I just strolled in over there somewhere. I forgot where though. Ah no, I went down to speed 1 for some reason. I mean, it was an okay move, but it also put my Architects in a position where it couldn't really help the rest of my fleet for the next turn. That was also a bit too defensively. I probably should have gone up to speed 3. And then here you can see when he actually decided to fight me, he brought Dodge in and he deactivated the thing, and then Wedge killed it pretty easily. And yeah. But that meant that now I had engagement range on his 2 squadrons, and they were already activated. So I just went ahead and tried to kill Wedge Antilles, because he's the big damage dealer of those 2. And I went ahead and just did that, I think, yeah. Because like my Interceptor went in there, but it didn't went in first, so we did a whoopsie on that, and then I just put Merrick in there. Shot with Merrick, did quite some good damage. Then the Interceptor did even more damage. And I think I even double tapped the Interceptor with Gendon. And I think that killed it. Yeah, and then Wedge died, which was pretty nice. And then I ramped myself again, and this was like, it was kind of a good thing because it was out of range of everything, but it was also a bad thing because next turn, spoiler alert, I wouldn't be able to go around my Raider again, and then I just died to ramming, which was kind of dumb. And then this is the one maneuver where I thought he should have just like gone in there and taken that one shot from the Raider and then killed it and ran away, like at speed 3. But he flew it rather defensively again, and that was kind of a bad one, and my Raider actually killed the bomber by flanking it, and then I rolled basically nothing at the front of the thing. And then here I did a maneuver which I myself thought was pretty good, because I stayed at speed 2 and I had to go into close range to the MC30, and I got the MC30 into a double arc as well, but sadly, as you will see, it didn't help me. And then there I shot the MC30 with the decimator as well, but it did pretty little damage. I think it did none. Yeah, it did none, which is rather unlucky. And yeah, so now we're at round 5 already, I think, and we just handed out command thingies, and then he would go on and attack his, activate his MC30, and it rolled literally the worst thing that could have like just happened to me, because what he actually ended up rolling was an accuracy, a hit, crit, and a hit, and it also has assault proton torpedoes. And I just want to say that he rolled that without any dice fixing, and it really made me salty, because that perfectly killed out my raider, because he then ended up ramming the raider, and that killed my raider, and I was like super salty, because that was more or less the only roll that would have killed it. And of course he accuracy'd my my brace, and then I was like down to 1 health, yeah, and then he rammed me. And I was very, very salty, because at that point I thought I had lost the game. And it looked pretty grim, because I thought I wouldn't be able to kill the MC30 at that point. But as you will see, I did kill that MC30 with my squadrons. Squadrons are great. Squadrons are a bit broken. So what I did here was I think I killed Wedge, yeah. So I went ahead and brought in the 2 interceptors, and they did roll pretty well, and then I just flew a pretty defensive kind of thing. And yeah, even if you have lost, take this, you always should shoot every shot you have, because it might end up killing your enemies, and that is great. Yeah. And then this is basically where he did the mistake, because he like went ahead with his Nebulon after it shot my Gozanti, and I think I just scattered that, but I'm not entirely sure. Or no, he shot the front at my Architects for some reason. And then you will see the navigation on this one was the final mistake, basically, because he took away all the space from his MC30 to land somewhere else, so it wouldn't get away from my squadrons. And because I rammed my my little Gazanti, I wasn't able to activate my squadrons. But because he didn't get away with the MC30, that didn't matter, because I still, yeah, you know what I mean. I can't talk today. And this is like where I rammed the Gazanti due to the bad navigation chart on the Architects and my own personal failures. But luckily I didn't land on the rock, so I didn't take in a crit on my Architects, which was nice. And then basically how this battle concluded was the Architects just flew away, and the MC30 died with the last die from Marek, which I really liked. It was really fun. Yeah, so for some reason I don't actually know why he chose to activate his Nebulon here first, and he slowed down to speed 1 with that, and that killed his MC30 because then it had nowhere to go and it had no navigation command, it just had a repair command, and yeah, the repair command didn't save it because I still had a Decimator and Marek shoot at it, and my Archidans shot at it as well, and it got a ram damage from his own ship as well, which was really, really great. And then the game ended up being 108 for my opponent, and I think 119 for me, which was like really, really close. And yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and we'll have one more round, and then we'll have the first pivotal battle. And before the pivotal battle, I will also do a recap on what happened galaxy-wise up to that point. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and see you in the next one.